Good morning, students. Welcome back to the history classes. Today we are going to start the second chapter, the Vedic Age. Now, the Vedic civilization was the culture and traditions of the society prevalent during the Vedic Age, 1500 to 600 BC. After the decline of Indus Valley civilization by 1500 BC, and it is the next wave of civilization began to take shape in form of Aryan occupation of Indo-Gangetic Plain. Now, Indo-Gangetic Plain, it's an area drained by the Indus and Ganges rivers, especially the lowland plain south of the Himalayas. Now, because of the Indus Valley civilization declined, the new civilization took shape in form of Aryan occupation, and this is known as the Vedic civilization, because in the previous chapter you have studied the decline of Indus Valley, where Aryans invaded Indus region and then they settled in India, and the new civilization started, and that is known as Vedic civilization. Typically, the age of Aryans is known as the Vedic age because the four major Vedas were created in this time. The word Aryan is derived from the Sanskrit word Arya, which means noble, not ordinary. They arrived from Russian steppes. Steppes means a large area of land with grass but few trees. So they arrived from Russian steppes, as is believed and agreed to by majority of historians. It is generally agreed that they spoke Indo-Aryan language, that is Sanskrit. They were semi-nomadic, a member of people living usually in small or temporary dwellings and practicing seasonal migration, but having a base camp at which some crops are cultivated. Pastoral people, shepherds, who led a rural life as compared to the urban Harappans. So said, see, there's a difference here. In the previous chapter, the Indus Valley or the Harappan civilization, you have studied that Harappans, they led an urban life. But here we'll see the Vedic people, they led a rural life. Okay. Now, Vedic literature, the term Ved means superior knowledge in Sanskrit. And that time 4 Vedas were written. First was the earliest was the Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved and Atharv Ved. Now Rig Ved was the earliest Veda, composed around 3500 years ago and comprises of 1028 hymns called suktas, which means well said in English. Suktas means well said in English. Rig Ved was initially learnt orally, as the printed of the same came only 200 years ago. The hymns are to praise gods and goddesses, chiefly Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the warrior god, and Soma, the god representing sacred potion. Rig Veda is written in Vedic Sanskrit, which belongs to the Indo-European family of languages. The hymns are written like dialogues between humans and elements of nature. Apart from gods, Rig Veda also comprises prayers for horses, cattle, and children, especially sons. Next, we'll move to Yajur Veda. It has details of rules to be followed during sacrifices. Now, Yajur Veda has hymns meant for chanting at the time of performing yajnas or sacrifices. These are useful in visualizing the social and religious lives of the Aryans. Samved has a collection of songs, and the origins of Indian music are traced to it. Atharved has a collection of spells and charms. A majority of the hymns here have been repeated from Rig Veda. So these are the 4 Vedas. Besides these Vedas, there are Brahmans, Upanishads, Aranyakas and epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now, Brahmans means a prose about Vedic hymns, rituals, and philosophies. Aranyakas deal with mysticism. Now, mysticism means believe that you can reach complete truth and knowledge of God or gods by prayer, thought, and development of the spirit. Upanishads, these are the philosophical texts dealing with soul, mysteries of nature. And last, we have two epics, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now, Ramayana was written by Valmiki and Mahabharata was written by Ved Vyas. So these are the two epics. So these are the different books written during the Vedic period. And Rig Ved was the earliest and was written 3500 years ago. Now we'll move to the classification of Vedic period. Now it was divided into two parts. Early Vedic period 1500 to 1000 BC, also known as the Rig Vedic period, because Rig Veda was written in the early Vedic, so it was also known as Rig Vedic period. And the second part is later Vedic period 1000 to 600 BC. Now we'll study the comparison of both the ages, whether it is political, whether it's religion, whether it's society, whether it's economy. We study the comparison between the early Vedic age and the later Vedic age. So first, we'll study the political organization in the early Vedic age. Kula was the basic unit of political organization. Multiple families together of kinship. Now, kinship means the relationship between the members of the same family formed a grama, a village. Lead of grama was Gramini. Like right now we have Sarpanch. So that time he was known as Gramini, who was the head or the leader of the gram village. Group of villages were called Visu, headed by Vishapati, and the highest political and administrative unit was Jana or tribe. There were several such tribal kingdoms like Bharatas, Matsyas, Yadus, and Purus, and the head of kingdom was Rajan or king. The Rig Vedic polity was hereditary monarchy normally. Like if father is a king, so his son will also become a king and it will go on, so on. There were two bodies. One is Sabha, or institutions you can say. Sabha, council of elders. So only elderly people of that particular place or the gram, they used to discuss the things. And Samiti, it was a general assembly of people. So this is the political organization during the early Vedic age. Now I will see political organization in the later Vedic age. Larger kingdoms by amalgamation. Amalgamation means a mixture, merger, formed Mahachanpas or Rashtra's. So many small kingdoms formed a large kingdom, and that large kingdom is known as Mahajanpads or Rashtra. Therefore, the power of king increased and he performed various rituals and sacrifices to make his position strong, like Rajsuya, consecration ceremony, Ashwamedh, horse sacrifice, and Vajpayee, chariot race. So these are the three types of yagyas which were performed. And why it was performed? To increase the power of the king. Now first we'll see the Rajsuya Yagya. It is a consecration ceremony which involves imperial sacrifice and was performed by the kings. Any king who considered himself to be the most powerful and fit to be an emperor would perform this ritual. Ashwamedh. In this ritual, a horse guarded by the king's men would be left loose to wander in the neighboring kingdoms. If any king would stop the horse from entering his kingdom, he would have to battle with the king owning the horse. If a king allowed the horse to enter his kingdom, it meant that he has accepted the supremacy of the Raja who owned the horse. The Ashwamedh Yajna was performed by specially trained priests who were later rewarded by the king. Now, after the horse sacrifice, the king was declared as the most powerful in the presence of all the kings who accepted his supremacy. So this was Ashwamedh. Next we'll move to Vajpayee. Now in this yajna or yagya, 7 horses were tied in chariot and the other chariots were also pressed into races. And after its victory, king and his wife sit down on the victorious chariot and both traveled to long defined place. So these were the rituals, or these were the yagyas performed to increase the king's power. Now the kings assumed titles of Raja Viswavajanan, Ahila Bhuvanpati, that is Lord of Earth, Ikrat, and Samrat means sole ruler. But importance of Samiti and Sabha diminished. The importance of Sabha and Samiti vanished. Now next we will move to society in the early Vedic age. The Rig Vedic society was basically patriarchal. Patriarchal means at present also we are following the same thing, that the head of the family, is the head of the family, or any elderly male member is the head of the family. The basic unit of society was graham or family. Its head was called as grahapati. Monogamy was practiced. Now monogamy means having one wife or having only one marriage. So it was practiced, but it was practiced only for the common people. It was only for the common people. They are not allowed to have polygamy. Now monogamy means having only one wife. Polygamy means having more than one wives. Now polygamy was practiced among the royal and noble families. So monogamy was for the common man, but polygamy was for the royal and noble families. Women had equal opportunities as men for their spiritual and intellectual development. Apala, Visvavra, Ghosha, and Lopamudra were women poets. Women could attend the popular assemblies. No child marriage, and there was no sati practice. Social divisions were not rigid. That means anyone can marry anyone can sit with anyone, so there was no caste distinction. Now society in the later Vedic age, the Varna system became prevalent. 4 divisions of society, that is Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, and Shudras. Now the division was there in the later Vedic period, and society was divided into 4 Varnas. A Brahman and Kshatriya occupied a higher position than other 2, that is Vaishya and Shudra. Various subcastes on the basis of occupation emerged. Women were considered inferior and subordinate to men now, and also lost their political rights of attending assemblies. Now they were not allowed to attend the assemblies, and they were considered as the inferior, not equal, inferior. Child marriage became common. Now we'll move to the economy in the early Vedic age. The Rig Vedic Aryans was pastoral, cattle rearing people. After they permanently settled in North India, they began agriculture. Carpenters produced chariots and plows, and a variety of articles with copper, bronze, and iron were made by workers. Now, the use of iron around 1000 BC in agricultural tools like axes, plows, sickles improved agriculture. Now, this is, if you see iron, it was not there in the Harappan civilization. So, in the Vedic age, iron was discovered. Spinning was an important occupation. Cotton and woolen fabrics were made. Goldsmiths made ornaments. The potters made different kinds of vessels for domestic use. Trade was conducted by barter system in beginning, but later shifted to use of gold coins called nishka for large transactions. Rivers acted as means of transport, so they carried trade through rivers. Now, economic conditions, the later Vedic age. More land was put under cultivation by clearing forests. Knowledge of manure saw development. Hence, agriculture became the chief occupation of people growing barley, rice, and wheat. Industrial activity became specialized with metalwork, leatherwork, carpentry, and pottery advancement. Internal trade as well as foreign trade also became extensive, and they traded with Babylon through sea. Hereditary merchants, Vanya, came into existence as a different class. Vaishya indulged in trade and commerce, organized themselves into guilds known as Ganas. Now, Ganas means tribe. Besides Nishka, in the early Vedic age, Nishka was a gold coin and only one gold coin was there. Now, They have discovered one more, that is Satmana. And Krishnala was a silver coin also used as a medium of exchange. Now, religion in the early Vedic age. Rig Vedic Aryans worshipped natural forces like earth, fire, wind, rain and thunder by personifying them into many gods. So they believed in nature. So that's why they started praying nature gods. Some important Rig Vedic gods: Prithvi, earth; Agni, fire; Vayu, wind; Varun, rain; and Indra, thunder. And Indra was the most popular among all gods. Next came Agni, an intermediary between the gods and the people. So Agni worked as a link between people and God. Varun, the upholder of natural order, and they had female gods also, Aditi and Usha. No temples were made and no idol worship was there. So no temples and no idol worship. Prayers were offered to gods for rewards. And why they prayed to God and why we pray to God? So that our wishes should be fulfilled. So that's why they also prayed God to get rewards, so that their wishes come true. Now, religion in the later Vedic age. Indra and Agni lost their importance. Now, in the later Vedic age, who lost their importance? Indra and Agni. These are the nature gods. They lost their importance, and in place of these gods, new 3 gods emerged. Prajapati, the creator, means Brahma. Vishnu, the protector, and Rudra, the destroyer, means Lord Shiva. Sacrifices and the rituals became more elaborate. Now, in the early Vedic age, there were no sacrifices and rituals, but in the later Vedic age, it became popular. But the importance of prayers declined. So, people were more involved in rituals and sacrifices. So, importance of prayers declined. Priesthood became a hereditary profession. They dictated the rules for these rituals and sacrifices, and they are the people who instruct the people about the rules and the rituals and the sacrifices. Therefore, by the end of this period, there was a strong reaction against this priestly domination. So people were not happy with these rituals and rules and sacrifices because they were very costly and time taking. So people were against these rituals and these priests. Now because of this, what happened? The rise of Buddhism and Jainism. Now, one more thing I want to tell you about the 4 ashrams that still followed in some places. Not exactly everyone is following that. The 4 ashrams were divided into brahmacharya. Now, it was practiced till the age of 25 years, and this period was meant for learning and seeking knowledge. See, this man was divided into 4 ashrams. First is brahmacharya. So it was practiced till the age of 25 years. That means he cannot marry before the age of 25 years. This period was meant for learning and seeking knowledge, like living like a student life. Next is grihastha. It was practiced till the age of 50 years. This period was meant for marrying, raising a family and maintaining it. Vanprasth. It was practiced till the age of 75 years. This period was meant for retiring from worldly affairs and seeking spiritual knowledge. And last one was sannyas, and it was practiced after the age of 75 years. And this period was meant for refutation of the world. So that these people after the age of 75, they refuse the world and they go to the jungle to meditate, and there only they die. So these are the 4 ashrams divided in the Vedic age. Okay, so this chapter is over now. If any problem, you are free to ask questions. And on Wednesday I'll be uploading the PDF of this chapter so that you can read that chapter and understand in a better way. Still you have any problem, you can ask. So thank you, students.